Hi everybody, I'm Sue Fierston speaking to you from just outside Washington, D.C. We had a big thunderstorm last night. I'm going to be printing for you one of the leaves that fell off our tree right here in the yard. This is an ash leaf. I can tell it's an ash leaf because it has these tiny leaflets off a main stem, and because it's so soft on the back, it feels very velvety. I'm just going to demonstrate how to ink a leaf and how to print it on a piece of paper, and that's all for today. The ink I'm using is this silkscreen ink called Versatech. There are many kinds of silkscreen ink. This is just the one that's easy for me to use, and it's water washable, and you can see I get messy very quickly. So it's a good ink for me, good for both fabric and for paper. Paper is what we're using today. So my palette knives are in another room. I forgot to bring them in, so I have this handy stick. I'm just going to scrape some out of the jar and put them down. What I have here is some freezer paper from the grocery store. I taped it down on top of newspaper. You could use newsprint or whatever you have at home that could just protect your surface, your art surface. Even cardboard underneath the freezer paper is fine. Newspaper is just what I had. I'm going to lay out a few colors. I like to use the magenta. I love this yellow, but what I always tell my students in my classes is this yellow is a very weak tinter. And what does that mean? It just means that it's very weak and not a good mixer. So I have to use extra, so I'm going to put out a lot. And finally, I'm going to use this beautiful sky blue. I think this is my favorite color. I'll use the back of this because I don't want to mix the magenta into the blue. And this blue is pretty strong, so I don't need too much of it. Lay them all out. Now, my hands are already messy. I get messy fast, so I'm glad this is water-soluble ink. I have some paper towels off to the side, ready to go to wipe up. So the first thing I want to do while my hands are clean is grab a piece of paper so that I don't get any ink on it. I'll move these things out of the way. Lay them here. Well, before I go on, let me show you something that I printed with these same colors on fabric. These are some beautiful big leaves that I don't have with me today, but that I'll show in other classes. This is a huge leaf from the gum tree. You can see the pointed leaves, the lobes. Here is a white oak printed on top. Here is a sycamore, and look at the texture in that. The sycamore picks up leaves, the ink irregularly. So we have some green ink that got stuck, some light blue ink, and even a little bit of purple. So it makes a beautiful, complex print. This here is a redbud tree, which is native to Maryland, and I have one right in my yard. I just picked these leaves up right on a walk in the morning. I brought them back home, and I printed them on this cloth. This is muslin. That you could buy at Joann's Fabrics or wherever you get your fabric. You could order it online. I'm sure it's not much per yard. This is a test piece for me, but it came out unexpectedly nice, so I thought I'd show you. Let's ink this. I always start by inking the lightest color on the leaf first, and I'll show you why as we go along. So you roll out the ink. This is a paint trim roller that I got at Home Depot. You could use any roller that's about this size. If you have a roller that's 8 inches long, you can imagine that'd be very hard to use on here. So a nice short one, this is about 4 inches, and it's foam. So I'm rolling it first towards me, and then I'm rolling across. And I do that just to get the ink on all sides of the roller. The ink is transparent. Well, I'd say translucent. And so you can't see it on there, but it's there. So I'm going to lay this in a clean spot, move my sample cloth, and move my paper over just a little. And I need to lay it somewhere so I can roll the ink on top. I hold the stem with my hand, and I roll away from the stem. Otherwise, the leaves are all going to fold on top of each other, and you won't get a good print. So I'm rolling away. You can see I'm not pressing down especially hard. I'm actually rolling pretty lightly. I'm trying to get into this area right around the stem, and I could even help it along by pulling it out a little bit and going over. Oh, and there's a spot I didn't get. I'm not going to ink the whole leaf with yellow. I think it'd be more interesting to have several colors on here. So here's the yellow. Let's try the magenta. Again, I'm going to roll towards me. And you can see how translucent this one is. You can see the white of the paper right through it. Let's roll magenta on top. Now, if I had rolled, well, let me show you this. Here's the magenta. Strangely enough, magenta and yellow in this brand of ink creates a beautiful orange. So you're going to see that, and maybe you can even see that on some of these veins already. I'm pressing with just, I'd say 25% of my strength. I am not painting a house, which I love to do, and you have to press hard. Those of you that have painted walls know. This is very light. It's a different feeling, just so you know the feeling in your hand. I'm going to use one more color and then we're going to print. And you can also see it's creating a beautiful stencil of a leaf underneath on the freezer paper. Let's use the blue. I have a blue roller left from another project. Okay, let's put the blue on. Do the stem. Maybe just a little bit over here. I know it doesn't look so dramatic, but when it prints, all the colors mix and blend in an optical way. So, I'm looking at my hands, they're pretty clean. I'm going to use, let's see, I'm comparing the size of this leaf to the size of my paper. The leaf's too big for this sheet of paper. So, I'm going to use some of this. This is calligraphy paper, available at any art supply store or at Michael's or online. It's anything that says calligraphy paper. It doesn't have to be this brand. But I happen to have this, so I'm going to rip out a piece and we'll use this to print on. Here we go. Okay, so I lay it flat. Paper often has a different feel on one side or the other. It doesn't matter. With calligraphy paper. You could use either side. Both give a great result. So let's give this a try. I'm going to lay this down. I'm doing this in kind of a hasty way. I don't have my tweezers here with me either. So I'm going to use my hand and pick it up. You can see the beautiful stencil. It is hard to preserve these on freezer paper because when the ink dries, it just comes right off. So if you want to preserve it, take a photo and make a card. That's the best way to do it. There's not too much you can do, but enjoy it right here. I'm going to flip the leaf over. And once it's down, it's down. You shouldn't move it because otherwise you'll get a smear on the paper and you don't want that. I'm going to take I'm wiping my hands because I'm messy from picking it up by the stem. I'm going to take a clean paper towel. Lay it on top of the leaf, so the leaf is the filling in my sandwich. Lay it down, and then rub using my hand. I'm feeling all the veins, the edges of the leaf, the margins of each leaflet, and as you rub, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but you can see the edges kind of showing up a little better through there. I'm feeling for the main stem. Don't forget the stem. Everyone does because everyone's in a rush to finish, including me. So I'm feeling where these stems join the main stem. I'm feeling here. Now I'm coming over onto the other side and I'm almost finished. This is a very quick process. When you're printing by hand on paper, you get results so fast. And this kind of thing is great for making cards and presents for people and things to put up on the wall because the results are so quick. All right, now this is the big test. Did I rub everything or not? We'll be the judge. Okay, we have this. Take this up. You can see we even have a little print here. Maybe you can do something with that. Take the leaf, lift it up. And there you go. Here, I'll turn it so that you can see better. This is the original leaf. And there's the print. Using just 3 colors. And all in all, I think this video probably took us 7 minutes or less. It's great to see you, and hope to see you again on another video.